Good morning, everybody. This is Martin here. Welcome to the breakfast show, Trading Ideas with SMARTRobie. I'm your host, Martin Wong in here. Now, today we'll be looking at the respective KLCI market, and definitely the news surrounding the rubber sector hasn't been great. We heard about the US ban in here, and let's take a look of it more in today our headline. That's right, but also not forgetting looking at the KLCI market for what it is now in here. I do know some of you still have some of those rubber gloves like I do, but it is definitely taking a hit as more and more vaccine rollout is driving the prices lower. It is certainly looking very in terms of undervalue this kind of stocks in here, but let's see what we have for you this morning. That's right. Now so far this morning we have the KLCI down just above me 11 points, right back to 1600. This is certainly not great, as many of you know. The rubber sector does constitute a bit of our KLCI right now in here. So there's a lot of people sort of trying to get out of this position because they do not like the US custom bans on the forced labor that we're seeing in TopGlov, and that is also referring to the other sector in here. But having said that, the KLCI, let's look at the KLCI. You can see just above me in here, it is still maintaining the blue trend zone. So having said that, that is still a bit on the safe side of all it, right? But tonight, by the time when the Trade VSA chart get updated, that you see in the SMARTRobie, you should able to hold up 1600. That will be much better. Let's go on to what we have for you in our headline today. On a news headline, of course, not forgetting our Wednesday. That's right, Wednesday we're looking at intermediate stock trade idea and looking at trending stocks, chart setup, and also news sentiment in here. All right, so on our news roundup today, definitely no other than the property sector. Now property sector again continued to recover from the COVID-19, and ever since we have the news of the last September, we've seen some of the so-called leisure as well as the post-economic recovery charts like property, consumer, they have come back. But this round, the outlook for the property sector remained to be much brighter in the second half, and definitely when you put in the sector analysis, which we will do shortly, at the end of it, you will see the property sector as well as construction being one of the post-COVID-19 recovery seems to be doing well, and that is some of those stocks already move up. I think I've talked about Matrix concept previously during the time where the valuation was a bit lower. Right now he has moved up a certain level. Check out Matrix, check out some of those property sector, but we will look at those slightly later in our show in here. All right, not to undo, our next headline is construction big player on Gamuda, banking on Vietnam and property sales in Singapore, and also MRT2 projects since they have cancelled the high-speed project in India, and Malaysia having to pay a penalty fine to Singapore. Definitely a no-no. So right now, let's take a look at Gamuda here. Okay, hit the Gamuda tab here, and switching to a wider chart here. You can see, let's look at the chart for Gamuda, and you can see the news which came out doesn't seem to be very how do I say it, good, because you can see there is a climatic volume just on the red pentagon, and the market sell back down 360, open up high and then sell back. So let's take a look at the morning price this morning in here. It is still down minus 0.8% in here. So this does look like, Gamuda is likely to sort of move sideways first before it has some sort of a direction in here. All right. Also, let's look at our next headline that we have for you is no other than TopGlov. Now, earlier on, we talked about the TopGlov trying to assert the USC's order. A lot of the products has been banned, and we can see yesterday we have a sell-off at 4%, and this morning let's look at TopGlov, right? The TopGlov, the rubber sector continued to sell off too, I believe. Last check it here, and you can see it's also sell off minus just above my head here, minus 4.8% to 455. It has been almost a 10% sell off between yesterday and today. So that is also calling a dip in our KLCI. This is now. TopGlov is furthering, putting up a case against the US border around the US forced labor in here, and the claims that he said, but the US has seized some of the goods that is already been US and claimed that they have sufficient evidence that it will be a very tough case for TopGlov to able to fight back all this, considering once you're blacklisted in the US, it'll be some time that they have to do a lot more act. So this will be a long-term effect on the rubber glove, and also many of the glove so-called reputation, going forward, where people buying rubber glove, they will associate with forced labor, and the same thing also go for the palm oil estate. What do you think? Do you think that these implications will have a further ongoing to the other sectors that we've seen so far right now in here? All right, so do take note, those of you who have the rubber sector. This news today will have a significant setback on the overall foreign funds taking up, especially in the case of TopGlov wanting to move to what we call the green stocks, being environmental, corporate governance, and also following sustainability. All right, so do take note of this one. And the next news is also not so good, is the AirAsia report just came out yesterday. A net loss almost 5 billion for the financial year of 31st December 2020, which is a couple months ago. So the stock has risen. Now remember, stock usually rise on anticipation of a good news in future. So now that the bad news is already out there, and they find that this news that the AirAsia able to go up so much, not sustainable. And you have seen this morning here, let's take a look at AirAsia price right now. All right, and hit that AirAsia and look at stock price just above me here. It's down 6%. And also looking at the chart, switching to a wider chart in here, you can see it also form a red pentagon. All right, normally when you see a red pentagon, do try to take some profits if you have a good run like here. Since below 80 cents, you're able to get in, at least you get about 20% run for that one. So AirAsia maintain a sell by analysts, seems to be an uphill big climb inside here. And we do know, judging from the COVID rollout, right, which is going to be in February 2022, so the earliest will be definitely next year, the first quarter, somewhere around this time frame. So 1 year from now, can AirAsia tahan 1 tahun or not, right? That seems to be this pressure going forward. All right, let's look at some other news that we have for you this morning in here, and we will look at the other green stock pick by another analyst, UOB Kay Hian. They picked 5. Astro, CIMB, Inari, and MYEG and Yinsun are those cherry picked for being the ESG. So you can look at some of those. Definitely MYEG yesterday, right, has turned green pentagon. Let me just show you this one in here. Would that have a sufficient market momentum to go forward from the green pentagon that we've seen so far here? You could see here, right? And on this chart here, green pentagon. Let me switch to a wider chart so you can see in here for the first time MYG started to do it, but there's a lot of support. You can see there are 4 tests, TTT. These are supporting, so it seems to be supported just above $2 and trying to crack up in here. We will know in a couple of days more whether this could go back to above 2 ringgit and 10 cents. Also, do check out Astro too, is also turned green pentagon in here. The others have not, so you have the SMARTRobie, and check out one of these stocks, seems to be the pick from the UOB Kay Hian for their top ESG pick in here. All right, now let's also look at the next news. Also, some of the smaller cap stock like Tavin has made up a fair bit of run in here so far, and they are venturing into the electric vehicle, right, being a copper player in here. And you can see from the chart wise, has gone up significantly, a fair bit in here, and also almost a new high in here, 40 cents, way back from 16 cents in here. So this chart is really rocketing up in here. Very nice one in here. I do think today the stock, oh, it's down 2.5% maybe. Good news, people want to sell. All right, so do take note of this one in here. And this is what's happening right now. The market taking a hit from the rubber glove news that seems to, proliferate to everybody's portfolio right now. All right, so let's look at the next news that we have for you. Is VS. That's right, VS is one of those EMS maker for Dyson and many of the products that we've seen for automotive and also the household product in here. So VS done pretty well. They record jump of 28.2% jump in revenue on higher sales prices, and also the Indonesian business, you can see here, posted a pre-tax profit of 4.7 million, and the new facility will be in Park in Senai. Headquarters will be their new headquarters. So congratulations to VS, and let's take a look at VS this morning here. VS, and on the stock price, all right, let's look at the stock price. It's up 0.4% in here. Also, I took note that the Jupiter Securities have a profit target of $3.10. Let's take a look at the stock fundamentals in here, right? And you can see this stock is not rated because it seems to be very pricey too. PE of 32 times with a ROE of 8, dividend only paying 0.83. You may also notice right now our stock fundamental has the top 3 shareholders, and it's updated, right, 30th of October. So that's something new from SMARTRobie in here. You could see Kumpulan Wangan Pesawat. I do think that is KWAP have some of our shares money in here, and it's definitely owned by the owner, Bae Kim Ling and Gan Sen Yan. Check those names out if you want to know more. So these are not typically good shares that is owned by the owner too, right? So something interesting that we have in here. Let's move on to the next news that I have. Definitely will be looking at the US market. That's right. Now the US fell 104 points because the stocks at that crossroad. So it has hit a new high, having said that, touching 33,000 in here. Of course, profit taking is coming in. But last night we also see the interest rate, 10-year U interest rate, did retest the old high at 1.762. So it has formed a double top, and hopefully if the US FOMC Jerome Powell keeping to his promise, keeping the interest rate low, we might see that is the all high, and we will see a bit resumption to a lower rates in here. Hopefully the interest rate will come down a bit when we see a bit more rally on the Nasdaq. Else the Nasdaq is taking a big hit in here, building a nice support in here. That's some people, some analysts are not that optimistic that the U will stay or come back lower because they felt that the inflation's it's been priced in here, but we shall see in the coming date whether the interest rate will come back down, and we will see a more rally on the Nasdaq market. Okay, now let's look at the news this morning that we have for the KLCI news. Definitely we can see very negative, the sentiment is just above in here. Everything is in the red, retraces a lot of the losses in here. Definitely the pressure point will be at what I've just shared with you just now, looking at KLCI. And you can see right now it's down 14 points in here. The 1600 level, can that tahan? No, that support here. Let's pitch this up a bit so you're able to see this level 15. You still have a support at 1590 in there, having said that. So that is yet to be seen whether we can break that or not. So everything is going through a lot of red color in here. Not so good this morning. And all right, let's go on to some highlights that we have our intermediate trade idea. Previously we had those happening earlier in January. Right now there's a lot of pressure right now by these stocks in here. Haven't said that my news continue to make new high 2 days ago, but it has gone through a correction right now. AirAsia is correcting now. Genting Malaysia, I think Honga want me to take a look at that one. I think right now we will have a lot of these corrections. Some tech stocks is picking up. Check out the sector analysis in here. We shall go and look at those. They're building up a very nice level in here. There may be a slight rotation, as I said before, due to the US interest rate that is maybe trickling down, but it is still all-time high. So I do see some accumulation, set up very nicely for the technology. So do take note of this one. This is the first time I'm just sharing here with the audience in here. We might see that nicely pick up in here. All right, let's also move on to our trade idea that we did last Wednesday. Was M-Cement and Fajar. These was the two trade idea. So I'm just going to bring up the charts and take a look at M-Cement again on the construction, Malaysia Cement. Okay, because when you say construction, property sector recovery, so that's the thing. Now the stock last week we talked about was the 20, let me switch back to a wider chart here, right, was 20, last week was 24th, okay, so 24th was somewhere around here, that's right. So the market did hit 5%, but quickly profit taking came in on a lower profit, and then you have a spring. So right now it's building up a nice base here at 261. It does tell you the momentum is still pretty much uptrend, but moving up slowly, but hopefully surely too. All right, so hopefully surely in here, that's why you can see all indicators are still turning to the upside in here. And okay, let's look at the next one. Fajar also again being a construction in here, Fajar Baru in here, still holding up. Remember 24th was here, and the market seems to be moving up. And take note of the low volume here. That's a low volume that we see, and what we want to show you later on our trade setup, that's the one we wanted to see eventually to break higher for that one. So those are the two stocks that we look at, the lesson learned in here. And also next week, or more like this week, okay, the stocks that we have picked for you are Dufu and FPI. That will be the intermediate trade idea for today, episode 52 and 31st of March. Okay, let's look at the Dufu. So you can see Dufu very nicely done. You can see this is the low volume and the market picks up after the green pentagon in here. So that's Dufu, FPI, Formosa Prosonic, and you can see very similarly now. So let's see whether this momentum that we've seen, despite the KLCI being very bearish in here, will carry this or not. All right, so those are the two trade idea for the intermediate for definitely for today. All right, let's move on to our next segment in here. Is definitely the Pentagon trading portfolio. As I said time and time again, the portfolio continued to do well so far for the January to March, with a 9% up on the backdrop of a $31,000 portfolio. So we were quite happy despite what we've seen the market really moving sideways. This is still holding in on, and again, being part of the agenda of train trader and train investor, it is important for you to have a good startup like what we did for the first quarter of 9% up in here, and hopefully we are able to at least achieve half of what we did in 2020, being 2020 a very bullish year, about 106% gain in the portfolio of a portfolio 35,000 in here. All right, so that's something we're hoping for. Now let's look at the sector analysis that we have for you. All right, sector analysis in here and hitting that one. So we just go on to the charts, switching to a wider chart here. So you are able to see, that's right, technology is back, industrial product, consumer, REITs, property, but the construction took a turn. You can see the construction now has moved to the right hand side. So construction now has started to change. The trend has started to turn. All right, now despite what I've said just now, construction was in the top green segment on the left hand side, but it's no longer. You can see technology, industrial product, consumer, and the industrial product is what we saw for VS. Consumer like Astro, those are coming back here. Technology, right, which means those of you who have some technology, let's see whether this will start to move up or not. All right, healthcare continue to be pounded very badly over there. Energy also too, and let's see what would we have later on. All right, so that's what the sector analysis in here. So let's move on to the schematic that I always talk about here, and this is the trade setup that we talk about. Let me just switch to a wider chart in here. It's typically when we see the line change, which is on this side, okay? After the line change, we want that trade to move up, and we saw that actually if you look at Formosa here, And once we have this line change, we want to see this momentum carry out. And that is what trending stock is all about after the green panel. But of course, it doesn't work all the time. It usually works when there is a strong underlying, like a good sector buying, or when the market is trending. Right now, we do see our market this morning has a sell-off of so far about 15 points in here. Whether it will sustain right to the afternoon yet to be seen. But also, this is what we are looking at. Not all stock will go down, but there are some stock would definitely proceed up from here. Okay, now let's move on to the this is the QR code for those of you who want to know more, especially those of you who are first time want to check out the sign of strength and sign of weakness that we have in our Pentagon. All right, now don't forget, this coming Saturday, 10 o'clock to 1 p.m. will be our technical analysis for beginner on TradingView. So that's a QR code for that one. So make sure you sign up. If not, just go over to our Telegram chat room in here and we'll be continuing flashing out this. So this is a QR code if you want to know what we'll be teaching this Saturday. That's right, our technical analysis for TradingView for beginner. Definitely something we're going to share more of all the setup like we've seen in FPI. We've seen all those in the earlier stock like VS, and also what stock did we was selecting just now? Just now we selected. Let me just go back that chart here. Dufu, that's right. And we selected Dufu. Okay, this is what I want to show you on Dufu. That's right, Dufu continue to hit up. And that's what we talk about, 1, 2, 3. See that? Once the line change happen here, and the market will push straight up. So that is what we want to teach you on our trade setup, and that's when the indicator picks up on SMARTRobie. And definitely those of you who subscribe to our package, our Trade VSA package, and also you can find more information on our trade package just above here. You can see these are all the plan and pricing. Those of you who want to subscribe, just click on them. You're able to see that, and that is definitely something that can help you on real time, updated with all the necessary plugin, and also the constant coaching for members and coaching. Definitely lots of benefit being a member of our Trade VSA for longer term in here. All right, let's move on to some of the other segment that we have for you here. Definitely is tonight's talk. That's right. Now tonight's talk is backed by popular demand. Some of you who are asking what is the Trade VSA Masterclass call is all about. So tonight at 9:30, and we will be debuting our Masterclass course preview for those of you who are interested, and also later on followed by a live US trading session after we finish our Masterclass. So those of you who want to see how we trade the US market and want to know more about it, definitely check us out at 9:30 tonight for a proven way to trade more effectively in the US and the KLSE market with the works that was pioneered by the father of VSA, Tom Williams there. All right. Also, today is our last day. That's right. Last day, 31st of March in here to get the double credit for 400 in here. So if you want to get more credit, definitely share with more friends in here before we revert back to the normal in here. And right now, we will be reviewing some stock pick in here. And those of you, I do hope that you're able to give me a feedback on our SMARTRobie here. We're giving feedback to this. Thank you to Savin, Happy, Richie Invest, Chris, LK, Bernard, and also Yuki. So, and also some of you earlier on have reviewed us, and we thank you for that one. So right now we're going to be reviewing. First priority will be given to our top fans, and as well as those who have given me. Now we will look at the Genting Malaysia from Hongga. All right, Genting Malaysia. Okay, now Genting Malaysia definitely you can see a lot of pressure of selling right now in here. There's still no red pentagon yet, you can see in here, so there is still a support 309. Use the SMARTRobie exit strategy if you want to, but if there is a red pentagon, take some profit in here. Let's take another one, HB Global. Okay, HG seems to be good as a pullback today. Despite the market down, it's up back 4%. That looks pretty good. HPMT looks good too, all right? And we have Yuki here being one of our reviewer. You get the first preference in here. Look at sign, signature. Signature looks okay after we've seen the green pentagon in here. Still moving sideways, low volume in here. Now do take note, follow the exit strategy that you have, all right? Follow the exit strategy that you have. And we have Abo, one of our members in here. MCT. Okay, that's good. Today we have a follow through 18% in here. After the green pentagon, a pullback, that's a nice one in here. And also MCT looks cute. We get Mayfan, Zing LNG. Okay, Xiangling no good already. Okay, Xiangling, you can see once it turned red pentagon and once it broke through the ATR stop loss, think to exit. Okay, I do hope that you got in much earlier and way before at this junction in here. All right, which is somewhere around here. Right now, it doesn't look good. Okay, learn to exit in here. All right, that's all we're going to do for our stock pick. Those of you who want me to review, do go over to the SMARTRobie in the Apple and Google Store playback. And if you have given your feedback to our Google Play Store and Apple Store, we'll be very happy, and a token of appreciation to you, we will review your stock on the next session when we do our breakfast show in here. All right, so that's all we have for this morning in here. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube to not miss out on all our talk. For that reason, and for those of you who are first timer, do join our Telegram and get all the latest information in here. With that, I'll see you tonight for our Masterclass course preview, and have a good day to you. Bye bye.